Are you sick and tired of gambling your hard-earned money on Madden packs? Look no further than my sponsor, MMOEXP, for the cheapest and most reliable MUT coins on the market. And don't forget to use code Ferdy at checkout for 5% off. What's going on, guys? Today we have the long overdue safety tier list. I believe the last time I updated this was, I think, before Harvest. I'm not sure how this happened, how the safety tier list kept getting delayed, but we're here almost, halfway through February, and we're updating it. So a bunch of new names, a lot of movement, from the last tier list we made. But if you have any questions about any of the cards, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. And basically what we do in these videos, we talk about the top tier cards and the cards I want to talk about and add them to the tier list to, at the end, eventually complete it. Okay, first man up is Troy Polamalu, the LTD Collector's Edition card. And you're going to hear me talk about this ability a lot. And the ability or X factor that I love so much is reinforcement. Reinforcement on safeties is pretty much the equivalent of having every single zone KO as well as man KOs and the ability to just be a demon against the run. It almost feels like you have run stopper or no outsiders or inside stuff on your safeties, that's why I love reinforcement so much. People, of course, love their zone KOs, but if you have a reinforcement lit up, it does the same exact thing. So Polamalu's, it is 3 AP on him, but it does stay on the whole game. 94 speed, 94 acceleration, good man, good zone. Again, with him only being 5'10", it's not that big of a deal because you're playing the reinforcement, you're playing the KOs. And the reason why he isn't S tier, say he was like one of the only reinforcement cards in the game, he might be up in S tier. But unfortunately for him, guys are able to get it now for 1 AP and it stays on the whole game. And some guys get it for 1 AP, it turns on, it turns off. Some guys get it for 0, it turns on, turns off. So Polamalu, he plays great with reinforcement on, but again, you're going to have to invest that 3 AP into him, which isn't that ideal. Next up, we got the AKA Dante Whitner. 95 speed, 94 acceleration, 94 zone coverage, does not hit that man coverage threshold, which is the one knock I do have on this card, the lack of the man coverage threshold. If you don't play man, it actually doesn't matter at all because you're never going to use that stat, but pretty good against the run. Again, 5'10". But the cool thing about Dante Whitner is that he does get reinforcement for free. It doesn't stay on the whole game. It kind of turns on and turns off. So if I were you, I would probably still play like a deep in zone KO. But honestly, if you want to get risky and kind of play a little RNG, depending on when your X Factor gets tested, you could go pick artist and reinforcement for 0 and make this card play pretty well. I think Whitner definitely is S tier because of that X Factor. His height, it isn't ideal. I won't lie. I would probably still put him underneath guys like Julius and Malik and some of these taller guys in the game. But even Malik's not that tall, but he is taller. Maybe I'll even switch these two, honestly. I still think Julius is a good user and safety and things like that. But Whitner, I'm happy with. I'll put him here. I'll put him there. I think he's S tier because of that ability, and also deep in zone KO for 1 is very good, as well as having pick artist for 0 is also pretty good. So Whitner can stop the run, can play zone, and obviously trigger those KOs. Next up, we got the new Genki Force Kevin Byard. 95 speed, 94 acceleration, 5'11", 96 zone coverage, does not hit the man coverage threshold, with 93 tackling, 92 pursuit, and only 81 hit power. So against the run, he's nothing crazy. If he gets picked up by a blocker, he's done. He's out of the play. Block shade's too low, impact blocks too low, hit power isn't high. But if he does get there, he'll make the tackle, right? That's the main thing. But if he does get picked up, he's not getting off a block, especially against like a tight end or some of these tight ends that we're seeing now. He's just not getting off the block, simple as that. If we head down here to the abilities, obviously a bunch of abilities because of the upgrade or elevation that these Genki Force players are able to get. So he is able to get reinforcement, which is interesting because these reinforcements, they kind of differ as you kind of go up. I gotta move this over. As you kind of go up, they do kind of differ, as you upgrade the card. So yeah, reinforcement's great. Also, universal coverage is also very good. It's pretty much reinforcement without the run stopping ability, but also you're getting better coverage boost out of it too. So universal coverage is going to boost the coverage, but also gives you guaranteed knockouts. And then reinforcement helps you with it gives you guaranteed knockouts, but not better coverage, but gives you better run support. So you're kind of picking and choosing what you want. If you are going to run this card, I would probably go reinforcement just because of the low run stopping stats. And here are the abilities on the card. Deep in zone KO for 1's obviously very good. Would have loved to see just like a deep zone KO for 1 in his tier 3 slot, but pick artist, acrobat, pretty good card. Just because of the flexibility of the ability. So for now, we are going to put Kevin Byard to the top of S tier. But obviously, we have 96 speed safeties in the game. If he had 96 speed, then maybe he would be in that top 5 conversation, but we're gonna have to see where, you know, Kevin Byard does end up finishing. And next up, we got the limited time Eric Berry. Obviously, Eric Berry cards always do play very good. You know, 6 foot, can play man, can play zone, can stop the run, as you guys can see down here. But when it gets to the, you know, when it gets to the top of the top at really every position in the game, it comes down to flexibility and abilities as well as good X factors. And, you know, Eric Berry being a legend, even on the Ultimate Legends, we're kind of seeing this, where they're not getting good discount abilities or any special X factors compared to some of these promo cards or AKAs and things like that. So immediately it kind of puts them in a hole. And this is really no different with the Eric Berry card right here, deep in zone KO, which is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, but you can't really run pick artists with it. You know, deep in mid zone, it's not bad. But again, you guys just saw Kevin Byard, and the flexibility of his card is absolutely out of this world. So I'm going to put Eric Berry behind Kevin Byard. Of course, I love this 96 speed. I love this size. I love the run stopping ability. I love the hit power. I love the man. I love the zone. But again, it's always going to be abilities over stats for as long as abilities are in this game. And that just is what it is. Next man up is Ronnie Lott. And I've been going back and forth on where I want to put Ronnie Lott. Obviously, he has the build. He can play corner. He can play safety. He can play everywhere in your secondary with good tackling stats. You guys see the difference between a guy like him and Byard as far as being able to stop the run. You guys see the difference, the block shade, the impact block, the man coverage, the zone, the hands, it's all there. The speed, the acceleration is pretty good. You know, the COD, the jumping, the play rec over 90. And for the abilities, the cool thing about this card is if you do use the lighted up token on him, you actually can get deep in zone KO lit up for the whole game for free. So if you are playing him at safety, usually your safeties kind of roll up the middle more often. You know, if you want to put him at corner, then I would probably go with more of a, you know, deep zone KO. But being able to have that flexibility, even that option to run deep in zone KO and pick artist for free is pretty nice. Or even, you know, enforcer, pick artist, and deep in zone KO for just 1 AP is also pretty crazy. So Ronnie Lott, I'm a fan of the card. I definitely am, and I'm definitely torn between, because again, you can upgrade this card when he's lit up, so I gotta kind of consider that. And with that being said, I am going to put Ronnie Lott in front of Kevin Byard. Yes, Kevin Byard has more abilities, more flexibility, but Ronnie Lott's a little bit bigger. Ronnie Lott has +2 speed over Kevin Byard, and also Ronnie Lott can stop the run a lot better than Kevin Byard. So with that being said, I am going to put Ronnie Lott in front of Byard. And next up, we got the Ultimate Legend Darren Woodson. This card was not yet revealed, or not yet out in the game while I'm recording this, and while you're seeing this, you're watching this on Saturday, he's already in the game. So obviously we're kind of limited with what we know about Darren Woodson's card, right? If we go up here, we'll look up Darren Woodson, just take a look at his previous card and kind of see what that, you know, that stat distribution looked like. And he should, if it stays pretty consistent, like +5 everywhere, hopefully we get up to 80 block shed, maybe 80 impact block would be nice to see. I'm going to be over 90 in all of his important tackling stats. Going to be, yeah, as you guys see the other stats though. So, you know, 96 speed, zone, man, tackling. It looked good for Darren Woodson, and he's 6'1". Deep zone KO for 2, tackle supreme for 1, which is, I know, is a very popular ability, and medium route KO for 1. So Ultimate Legends, they're not that crazy. They're not special like Super Bowl cards. They're not special like the Yankee Force cards. They're not special like these cards, even like some playoff cards, I guess, where you're all getting these discounted, like crazy discounted buckets. Only 1 discounted bucket on the 96s. Maybe when it goes up, we'll get 2 and then 3. I don't know. We'll see. We'll kind of see how it all plays out. But Darren Woodson, he'll play solid. He'll play solid. Do I think he's like out of this world crazy? No, and I really am playing with him between either. I think him and Kevin Byard are pretty interchangeable depending on what you need. Like, if you only need, like, if you just need deep zone KOs and you don't care about the reinforcement or the X factors, then go Darren Woodson. But if you're able to kind of use the elevations and get reinforcement on Kevin Byard, then Kevin Byard's the clear option, because reinforcement or universal coverage just are too good not to really run it. It make them play so much better. So Darren Woodson, for certain people, could work if you already have like unstoppable forces out there and things like that, where you really don't have room to run it. I think Darren's gonna play better if you took away the abilities, but with the abilities and things like that and the flexibility, it's tough for me not to say Kevin Byard over Darren Woodson. It just is. But again, if you show off all the abilities, I think Woodson would play better. But unfortunately, there is abilities, and they play a big part in the game. So I'm going to put Byard in front of Darren Woodson, which I don't think people are going to like, but it is what it is. And next up, we have the out of position MCS, Donald Parm. So this card right here is interesting because as a user, I think he's the best user in the game. I obviously kind of do factor in users in the safety tier list, but I also like kind of more factor them as over the top guys and things like that. So I think Donald Parm is the best user in the game right now. I'm going to say that right now. You know, 6'8", 240. He moves great, plays great. COD's there, speed's there, man's there. If you need to let him lurk by himself, he's able to do that. Good tackling stats, all that other good stuff. I would say his block shed's really, really bad. Like if he gets picked up, he's out of the play pretty much. Even as your user, it's tough to kind of shed and get off the tackle. So that's why one gripe with the card. But I do think as far as in coverage, he is the best. So Donald Parham as an over-the-top safety, though, that's kind of how he was designed. And it's kind of weird because more people in more of their schemes, they use deep out zone KOs on their corners because that's just kind of how they drop. So if you are going to use Donald Parham and you want to use deep out zone KO, it's really all you can use because he doesn't get deep in zone KO. He does get unstoppable mid-zone KO, which is kind of tough to activate. You need 8 tackles with a guy who can't really tackle that well to activate it, and then it's on for the rest of the game. But still, most people quit this year. Most people leave games early, so it's kind of hard to get those unstoppables to kind of light up. It was a good idea in theory, but people just leave games too fast. So Donald Parham, yes, he's 6'8". Yes, he's a unicorn, all that good stuff. But I really think I'm going to put him... I think I'm going to put him behind Ronnie Lott. I think the 97 speed Ronnie Lott with the different X factors and zone KOs and the better flexibility, I think I would rather have him than Donald Parham over the top. As a user, it's a different story. Donnie's great, but I think the limited abilities, if he had the ability setups of some of the guys we're still going to talk about in today's video, then maybe he could be, you know, #1. But he just doesn't. That's the reality of it. So obviously Donnie's going to be very annoying to play against if used the right way. But he has to kind of be perfect for your scheme to really be effective as an over-the-top safety. And next up, we got Jerrel Brown. So this card right here he was already pretty good. Already probably would have been like a top 5 safety in my opinion. Probably already would have been that. But on the Super Bowl, he did, of course, get the interception, and he got his 7 tackles, which means he does get -1 in his 6 ability bucket. And I'll show you what that's able to kind of do for the cards. So Jerrel Brown, 96 speed once he's, fully, lit up, all that stuff. He gets +1s here. So the acceleration's crazy. The man coverage, zone coverage, hit power, even good enough block shed. So he's a very well-rounded safety. 5'11" is kind of the one problem with the card, but you guys are going to see the crazy X factors that he's able to get. So reinforcement on this card, once you give it to him, it's lit up the whole game. It does cost you 1 AP, but it's worth it. Like 1 AP for reinforcement the whole game is insane. And the fact you're even able to get that is just crazy. As well as being able to get, medium route, pick artist, flat zone, deep zone for 1, 2 is just crazy. So even if you don't want to run the 1 AP, even if you don't want to, light up the card, right? Even if you don't want to light it up and spend the 1 AP on reinforcement, which I think you should, or mid-zone KO, he still gets deep route KO for 1 or deep zone KO for 1, depending on what scheme you run, whether it's man or zone, and also free pick artist. So this card to me is one of the best cards in the game, just flexibility wise. As a safety, you can put him anywhere on your defense. He can play anywhere, can do anything. He's an actual demon. So Jerrel Brown, we're going to put him at S tier, and even that reinforcement option for those who do want to light him up is great, and it stays on the whole game again. And really, you don't even need the KOs. You don't even need them at that point, but still, Jerrel Brown's flexibility is tough to beat, and that's why he's coming in at S tier. Okay, so I just finished editing the video, and I realized I forgot a top tier card. Normally, I do forget some names, and I realize it, but they're not like top tier. But Justin Reed's legitimately like a top 5 safety in the game, and I somehow almost forgot to put him in this video. So we're back. I gotta just put him on here real quick. I know it's gonna spoil who the last guy is for you guys. But yeah, Justin Reed, 96 speed with 96 acceleration, 95 agility, 93 COD, 92 awareness, 6'1", 202 with 96 man, 97 zone, 91 hit power, and pretty low mid-level tackling stats with the block shed and the pursuit and the tackling. But of course, the abilities with him being a Super Bowl card are going to be great. Pick artist, light it up. Deep route KO, light it up. Shut down, light it up for 1 AP. And then for the abilities, even if you don't want to light them up, you get deep in zone KO, you get medium route KO, short route KO, mid route KO, mid zone KO, flat zone, and pick artist. So you have options with this card, and he's simply a stud. And I do actually believe that we kind of got to go find him real quick. Give me 1 second. There he is. I think he's better than Kevin Byard. So we're going to move him down. We're kind of going to play this game here, move all these guys down. But that is, I think I'm glad I caught that, because I do think Justin Reed is a top 5 safety in the game right now. And I'm glad I mentioned him in this video, because it would have sucked if I forgot him. And finally, at number 1, this one really shouldn't be a surprise, but Cam Chancellor, 6'3", again, can be lit up, 97 speed, 93 acceleration, 225. So as a user or the over the top, he's going to be insane. And they gave this version of the card 90-man coverage. So 90-man coverage, He's got 97 zone coverage, and you guys see these stats against the run, by far the best with his build and his weight. He's very, like, as a user, you could even argue that maybe he's actually a better user than Donald Parham. I think Donnie's definitely easier to user with, obviously, because he is 6'8" and kind of can bail you out. But when someone starts running the ball, it's tough to kind of get there with your user, especially because he is a safety. But with Cam Chancellor, he feels linebacker-like because of his build, and these stats right here are obviously pretty crazy. So that's obviously half of it. The other half is the abilities. Are they good? And yeah, they're pretty good, man. He gets dual threat, which you don't know what dual threat is. It's the most devastating defensive players often excel via versatility. Yes. When they enter the zone, they have an increased chance of defeating pass blocks and knocking catches loose. So it's pretty much like if you're blitzing, he's going to get good sheds, or if he's in coverage, he's going to get KOs in really all scenarios, which is pretty good. And then Enforcer Supreme is obviously, it's like Tackle Supreme and Enforcer in one, where they can't break tackles and you get hit sticks, pretty good. And then Avalanche, which means if you line up a hit stick, it will be a fumble most of the time. So we have deep zone KO for 2, pick artist for 0, mid zone, deep route. So even if you're playing man, he has a deep route option, which is obviously very rare for Cam Chancellor. So he's able to play man, play zone, be your user, play over the top, stop the run. He's the most versatile, and he's 6'3", almost 230 pounds. So 230 pounds. So yeah, that is going to do it for the safety tier list. Again, long overdue. I do think there will probably be some debate on the number 5 spot here between Byard and Darren Woodson. I think I'm going to stick with Byard, though. I think I am. So the top 5 safeties right now in Madden 24 Ultimate Team, we got number 1, Cam Chancellor, number 2, Jerrel Brown, number 3, we got Ronnie Lott, number 4, Donald Parham, and number 5, we have the Genki Force, Kevin Byard. So that is going to do it for today's video. Again, drop a comment down below. Who's too high, who's too low, who was snubbed. Let me know down in the comment section. And as always, I will see you boys in the next one.